Hello and welcome back to the E Show, episode number 16, the first one of the 2018-19 season. Once again, my name is Neil Ravin, Director of Communications for the EHL. I want to welcome in our first guest of the year, Adam Houli, the head coach and GM for the New Jersey 87s. Adam, a great start to your season so far.
Yeah, thanks, Neil, for having me. We've got off to a good start. We're about a quarter of the way through, and obviously we're happy with where our record is, and we're happy with where our play is. So to say we're ecstatic right now, but there's still work to do, and that's what we look forward to in the next couple of weeks.
Obviously, 11 games in, you lose the opener 4-1. There were two empty netters. You bounce back 2 wins, and you lose a tight game to the Rangers. But 7 straight wins since then. You have the longest active winning streak in the EHL. What has been the key to your success so far?
I think it's twofold. I think off the ice, I think it's the familiarity of our guys and our systems. I think it's the type of player we recruited, and knowing what type of player we're going to get on the ice has helped kind of implement our systems and trust the process a little bit. That first opening night was a good taste to say, hey, welcome to the EHL. Every night you're going to have a difficult game. You have to execute, and you have to do things the right way. And I think in the game, obviously, we've had some timely goals. We've had some huge saves that have kept us in games and won us games. So I think there's been points in every game, though, you look back and say, that's where the game changed right there, and it can go either way. But I think the type of players we brought in, we knew we were going to have that momentum to carry us and get a W. So I think those things all together, put together, has gotten us off to this good start and has kept us, 7 games straight here. Obviously, we want to continue that as we move forward into the weekend.
And obviously, there's some new teams in the league. It's pretty well known across, but you're the only team that has prior experience in the EHL, of course, having an EHLP team this past year. What did that 1 year of experience really mean to your program?
I think a ton. I think as a staff, it has allowed us to keep a good pulse on our team this year, having gone through it last year. And what I mean there is just knowing when practices need to be harder, when practices need to be a little bit lighter, our off-ice regimen, when we need to really build some muscle versus when we really just need a good deep stretch. I think last year kind of gave us a good awareness of that. And then this year, obviously, now we're able to fine-tune it. I think, understanding the rigors of being on the road last year, traveling, meals, all that kind of stuff, just give us a good experience going to this year. So now we feel very comfortable. We're not scrambling for certain things. We have all our little, cross our T's, dot our I's ready for road trips. And then I think at the end of the day, I think, being very successful last year, but honestly, not reaching our final goal, it kind of has a carrot in front of you. You had that feeling from last year where we were a very successful program, and we weren't able to capitalize. So I think that has kept us motivated and kept everybody in this program very humble and very understanding that, you can have a good year, but if nothing happens at the end, it's just a good year. So I think that has kept us kind of in check and kept us motivated to continue to get better. And then why that last year was so vital to get under our belt and have the experience, even in the Premier League, just to have the experience of knowing what is coming at you and the intensity of the EHL in itself. It really made us successful for this year.
Well, I was going to let you bring up the playoff loss, so I'm glad that you did that. Obviously, a frustrating way for the season to end, but a very positive first year of having a junior hockey franchise. So you have all the experience of last year, the first, almost 2 months of this year. Have the goals changed at all for you guys since the 7 straight wins, or you kind of have that same focus still for the rest of the year?
No, I think that's it. I think we've had the straight focus. We've had the same goals. Every year our goals are similar. Obviously, each player has individual, and then we have our team goals. But I think this year it's the same. We want to compete day in and day out. I think that's the biggest thing that has made us happy with this league is that every day you have to compete, and that's our goal. Simply, if we can compete, we're going to give ourselves a chance to win a game. If you don't compete, you're not going to have that. So obviously that compete and consistency is a goal throughout the entire season. And then on the other end, we want to make sure our guys are getting to the next level. We want to make sure that the Division III schools are looking at us and saying, hey, these players can translate to our game. We want them here. That's a goal of ours. And then there's some guys on this team that for the Tier 2 aspect, we want to put them in a good position that, maybe their number gets called on draft day. Maybe they're in a position to get a tender. That's our goal as a program is to push guys to the next level. and develop our players. So those are some of the internal long-term goals. And obviously, again, at the end of the day, we want to put ourselves in a position to represent our organization at the highest level and win the biggest games this year and not falter as we did last year. So, similar goals. Obviously, we fine-tune them as we go, but the overall message has always been the same as an 87 is, compete consistency and get to the next level is our goal.
And that's a good transition to what I was going to ask you next. A player like Kyle DePalma just committed to Albertus Madness. A player like Jack Lane was just up here in the Boston area this past weekend for the All-Star weekend. Two players that obviously have tallied some points this year, so their names have been out there. But you have a pretty good roster from top to bottom. Are there players that may not appear in the box score as much for you, but should get recognition for how well and how key they've been for your team this season?
Yeah. I think that's a great observation for us. That's what we're very excited about is our depth. In watching the league last year, as we prepared for the league, we noticed you have to have depth to get far, and you have to have depth to produce at the level that certain teams were producing at last year. So that was a big goal of ours. Looking at our team in that sense, I think there are a few guys. I think there's Justin Vickers on defense. He's a 99 defenseman from Colorado. He's not going to show up as much in the score sheet as he may like or as much as we may like, but his play is very, very good. And he's someone I think, again, that has attracted Division III interest and certainly Tier 2 interest as well. So he's a guy like that. Tim DeBoer is another 2,000 in our league who really has put in some time and goals this year and is someone to keep track of over the next year because he may be another player who ends in the Tier 2 ranks as well. And then a lot of our local guys. I think it's a big market for us as well. You have your Trevor Sears, your Jack Lanes, like you mentioned, your Kyle DePalmas, all local guys who now are giving themselves a chance to play NCAA hockey. So always good for us to keep an eye on those guys to allow us to grow in this market and get better every day.
And off of that, looking ahead now, you take on the Rebels this afternoon at 12:15. That's your last home game until December. Was there, a strategy behind scheduling like that, or is this just the way it worked out and you want your team to kind of?
No, it is partly the way it worked out, but it worked out in the sense of knowing we being okay with it. Like I said earlier in our conversation, you have to learn to win. You have to learn to win on the road. And I think for us right now, it comes at a good time where we have to be on the road for 8 games, 9 games straight, and develop and continue to keep trending up. So it's a big test for us. It's not going to be easy. We play a tough schedule. We have a lot of big games in that stretch. But I think if we can emerge out of that feeling good about ourselves, hopefully we'll set precedent for the future and obviously when the games really mean something later in the year.
Well, there you have it, folks. He's Adam Houli, the head coach and GM for the New Jersey 87s, the longest active winning streak right now in the EHL at 7 games. They have a home-and-home series this weekend against the Rebels starting, like I said, this afternoon, 12:15 in Middletown. Good luck this weekend, Adam. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Neil. Talk to you soon.